I'm Bart Baggett, and this is the Handwriting Interviews. With me, a very special guest, Ramon Chavez Jr. Welcome.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
Well, thank you. Now, can I call you Ray, Ramon? What's your preference?
Ray is fine.
Ray is fine. Now, you answered an ad saying you want to get your handwriting analyzed, right?
Correct.
What interests you about handwriting, or what I do?
Well, the reason why I wanted to get this done is because, well, I look a certain way.
You look tough.
I kind of, people have their opinions about me when they would see me on the bike, especially if I'm on my motorcycle.
Big Harley Davidson, generally
right.
The whole prototype. You're a badass.
Right. Try to be as much as I can, and and the thing is that's the thing is that I try. I'm really kind of not, but I just love the lifestyle and the look and the feel, and when the people see me, they don't really know. When they meet me, they think I'm a certain way, but then when they get to talk to me and the way I sound, the way I act, and I move, they're like, okay, I totally didn't peg you for that, and that's kind of what I wanted to see.
Well, that's really interesting, because that's one of the reasons I picked you is the way we did this is we put out ads for certain types, and one of them was like, bad biker guy. And when I saw your handwriting, it didn't scream bad biker guy.
Oh, okay.
I was like, here's a really nice guy, an average self-esteem, like you're very intelligent. I mean, a lot of these things we'll get into, but it also didn't scream, oh my God, this guy's going to reach over the table and strangle me. Which I don't think you are, right?
Well, I mean, let's see, where did you see that?
So I don't. I feel.
It depends on how this interview goes.
I feel safe at the moment, and maybe
Okay.
that's premature.
Yeah,
but I agree with you. I think that's interesting that people perceive you as a big tough guy, and maybe you're a lot more sensitive. Okay, I perceive you as a pretty bright guy, analytical and quick thinking.
Thank you.
Tell me how annoyed you get with stupid people.
Oh my God, you have no idea. Oh, you just have no idea. It's not that they're stupid, it's just that they're distracted, or they're not paying attention, or their mind is somewhere else and not at what's at hand. How did you figure out the analytical part? Because I know that very about myself as I am. I process everything.
Very simple. When M's and N's look like jagged teeth, like a shark tooth, it's analyzing.
Oh.
What this translates in is to a fast mind, fast calculation, and then of course that can be impatience. Because a lot of people aren't as fast as you are, therefore they run slower. They may be more creative, they may be better dancers. There's a lot of assets to that. But you being quick translates to impatience.
Okay.
Your handwriting slants back and forth. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
Left-handed.
Okay. That is one thing you can't tell in handwriting. However, some left-handed people go, oh, well, I slant backwards because I'm left-handed. That's not why people slant backwards, but some people do. You do have a variety of slant. And do you always write cursive, or do you normally print?
I'm kind of like in the middle.
In the middle.
I print mostly, but I mean, I have a couple of cursives.
But you can do cursive too.
Yeah.
But printing normally means it's an excessive masculine thing, and so those guys don't reveal intimacy as fast. So the fact you write cursive is actually very good, especially for relationships. It means you can have intimacy and open up. It doesn't mean all block printers are bad. I'm not making vast generalizations. But the fact that your handwriting slants back and forth normally means unpredictable mood swings.
I think my wife would probably be very agreeing with you at this moment.
Well, if she were here, how would she describe your mood swings?
She would probably be saying to really listen to you, and whatever you say to do it.
Well, I'm not trying to fix it. I've got no pill to sell. Why would your mood swings affect your wife?
Because she's usually with me when it happens. I mean, it's not that.
Give me an example. I mean, give me a specific example when she would say, "God, Ramon, you're such a moody little girl."
Well, she doesn't. Maybe not those words exactly. One of the best ones is when you're at a stoplight and there's people crossing, and my light turns green, and they're just walking casual, and it's like, come on, and it's not like it's just more of like, look out for other people. It's not all about you.
But that affects your mood.
That affects my mood.
And then it affects your wife's mood.
Yeah, because I'm like, if he's looking at me like I don't care, I'm gonna walk, then you know what? I'm gonna push the gas and let's see who wins, the car, the bike, or you. And I go, and that's where she gets mad. She's like, look,
because you're taunting him.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna hit him. I'm not gonna do it. But
you're just gonna, flex
I'll
your muscle a
close
little bit.
to get him to think about it. Yeah.
Now, I read in the little survey you said you've never gotten in a fight.
Never, thank God.
Okay. With your size, do you think that's why you haven't gotten in a fight? Because it sounds like you might have pushed a few buttons in your time.
I have, but I think my size has a lot to do with
it
because of most of the time that I'm like, because I kind of joke around a lot,
right.
I'll talk a little trash, but it's all in fun. But if someone gets offended by it or whatever, and if they approach me like that, usually I'm sitting.
A couple things about your handwriting. You underline your middle name, Ramon Chavez Jr. What does Chavez represent as far as you and your family? What does that represent to you?
For me, wow, it's good that you, how do you know that?
That's because you
That's
underline,
impressive, yeah.
You underline just that part of the name, not part of the others. I'll explain, but answer the question first.
Okay.
What does that represent?
Well, there's 4 siblings. I'm the only boy.
Okay.
I'm the youngest only boy, so my sisters who get married, their last names change.
Yeah.
Chavez is pretty much it's just me. That's it. I'm the last one.
You're the last of a line.
So
it would be fair to say you have a lot of pride in that name.
Very, absolutely.
And does that represent your dad or your mother or your whole line of your history?
It's my mom and dad. My dad was, working 3 jobs. He was never around, but he was working 3 jobs to make sure I had food on the table. And as you can tell, I haven't missed many meals. So he worked his entire life, and at his, never amounted to money. He's not a wealthy man, but at his funeral, it was standing room only, and there was from military guys to janitor guys to older ladies to young girls and it was just the vast amount of people that were around
So he's a beloved person.
Yeah, the standing room only, and I was
Right.
like, wow, and my mom was just the force, she was the strong one.
So as far as how this comes up in your handwriting, the last name Chavez, underlining it means that you have pride in it, and that you're proud of it, and there's even a leadership quality about you.
I try to.
So all that's very positive. There's nothing
Thank
negative
you.
about it, and it doesn't take away from your first name or the junior part. I'm glad to hear that. That's really nice. Really nice.
Yeah.
The one thing I have to, the reason I ask you if you're left-handed, because some of the strokes end up going back to the left, and a lot of left-handed people end up with crossing their T-bar to the left, because that's the most natural to pull that. And it's an amazing little trick called graphical therapy, is that thought process is this, even if you're left-handed. Tell me if this rings a bell. There is something in your brain that self-criticizes you, that finds fault and brings that sarcasm into yourself. Does that resonate at all?
Are you sure you didn't talk to my wife before this? Because you're absolutely right, man. That's
it's called self-critical, but it's also a tendency to look in the past and criticize yourself. Tell me, I did too much talking there. Tell me if you're self-critical and give me an example.
Very self-critical. I try to make the best decisions I can for me and my immediate surroundings.
Okay.
Whether it's financial, whether it's responsible, whether it's entertainment, whatever
Right.
it is that I feel like, this is my job to make sure that everyone is taken care of.
Okay.
And that's what I try to do. So I always constantly think of better ways to,
But that sounds like you're being responsible. That doesn't sound like you're being hard on yourself.
Oh, well, because I have my parents, the way they brought me up to was like, okay, look, you're the man of the house. You're the responsible one. You're going to do
need to
this
achieve
one.
a certain
So it's
status.
just living up to their standards.
So is that
I
voice in your
have for
head
them.
say, I'm not living up to it, I'm falling short? Like, does it motivate you to criticize yourself?
Every time I make a decision, it's like, don't let your mom down. Don't let your dad down. Remember what they went through to get you to this spot.
Got it. So
While
it's almost
you're
like
playing PlayStation, he was working cleaning, toilets and stuff like that. You know
Got
what I
it.
mean? So that's where, it's just a reminder to remember where you're from.
But it's motivating, but almost like you're not good enough motivating. It's sort of a undercutting thing so that you'll achieve more.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just that constant need to want. My mom was like, "Why settle? Why settle?
Nice.
If you don't want this money or you want this kind of lifestyle, then why are you settling for this? Work harder, work more, and work better.
Let's talk about success and goal setting.
Okay.
Do you feel that you've achieved the level of success that you expected to at this point in your life?
What kind of success are you looking at?
How do you define it?
Actually, you know what? I have everything that I can want. The only thing I don't have is the financial freedom. Other than that, I have a great career. I have an amazing wife. I have a beautiful Harley. I have a '67 Cadillac in the garage that my grandfather left to me.
Nice.
That I'm restoring. It's taking me a little long, but I'm doing it. And
do you find yourself setting goals and achieving them, or not setting big goals because you might fail?
It was a big process. Before I was swinging for the fences. Everything was huge. I want to be the best of this. I want this. I want that. And wasn't really getting them.
I understand. Failure is part of success. I totally understand.
So then you start changing your mentality. It's like, hey, you know what? Instead of going for swinging for the fences all the time, let's just try to get on base. I'm sorry for using a baseball analogy, but
it's okay.
just day to day.
So now you're hitting more short-term goals.
Yeah,
you're
baby
pay
steps.
the mortgage, baby steps, and that's a comfort zone for you.
Baby steps, chipping away. As long as I'm better today than I was yesterday,
got it.
I'll be okay.
One thing, and I only saw it once in all 5 pages, so bear with me. This may not be on at all. There was one trait I saw that was a slight sort of dejection, like you got something you wanted and then you didn't feel it was really worth, or some other people might put it as like a slight fear of success. I only saw it once or twice, so I just want to ask you, is there any fear of success, or is it a fear of failure that sort of motivates you more?
It's more of the fear of failure.
Okay.
It's more of the failure of, of the siblings or the family members or friends, or being like, you know what, I don't want them to look. I know they won't, but I feel like they would be like, God, his parents were so amazing. They gave him all this chance, and he blew it.
Got it.
And
that's like your worst fear, like people talking. And
I don't want to end up homeless or living with my relatives or not having a job, and I don't want to do that, because they work too hard for me to do that.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you have a lot of pride and respect for your family. Tell me this: of what do you value most in life? Like, what's most important to a Ramon?
I would say just happiness. That is your biggest. My biggest goal is weight loss. I was about 350 pounds.
Okay.
I'm currently at about 270.
Nice.
And it wasn't because of some magic pill or whatever. And it's all in the mental thinking. And what it is that once you start those baby goals and you start doing it the right way, things work out. I mean, there's no reason why life should be hard.
So happiness would be your major value.
That's
what is the major source of your happiness now? Your spouse?
Right now I feel like everything in my life is clicking. I found and my wife was a huge part of that.
Right.
Because I was horrible in dating because I look a certain way. So the kind of girl that I would attract wanted the bad guy. Yeah, the guys who steal or break things, and I'm not like that, man. Give me a good book or something like that. I'm good.
You cry at sad movies?
Yeah, okay, Die Hard was very emotional at the end. But no, the way I met her, and then I always thought that you had to work hard and really grind at the stone. And the way I met her, no matter what I did, it just worked out.
Nice.
And I felt, okay, well, no matter whether it's God, whether it was whatever it is, it's like, okay, that was put in front of me. No matter what I did, it was there.
Nice.
And it worked out. So I was like, well, if my love life can do that, why can't my career do that?
Awesome.
I want my career to be, the way it was with her. So I was like, okay, and that's where I was in a dead-end job and stuck and struggling with money. And I went from survival to let's live. And I found the career I want. And
you didn't tell us the career you want. Tell us what career you're.
I'm currently an actor right now.
You're an actor. Mm-hmm. Excellent. And I guess that it's a great role for you because you probably always play the bad guy, right?
That's one of the hardest things is that 90% of the jobs I get are cholo, are gang bangers. And growing up, I did grow up in that area. I grew up in the worst part of town called Devil's Triangle. But my mom was like, "Look, this is not the life you want to lead.
Got it.
You got to study." So nice. I was straight A student. Never missed school, and though even times where I wanted to miss school, I was sick. My mom was like, "No, 104-degree temperature, it's okay. Because you're gonna make it.
You can grow up and act like a bad, but you're gonna be a good kid." Yeah.
So I grew up, the nerdy kind. But in my neighborhood, you kind of had, if you were a nerd or if you did those things that you did, you got beat up or even killed.
Wow.
So you kind of had to
So you suppressed your nerdiness until you're
right. So I try to be this hard guy, and it just never went out.
And you're kind of a nerdian. You're kind of a nerd inside.
My wife describes me as your nerdy rocker. That's her description. I'm like, that's not really the thing I want. But hey, it is what it is, man.
Nice. Ramon, it has been a huge pleasure to have you on there.
Thank you.
Do you have any final questions about what we talked about? Because you've just been very insightful to me, and I know they've been insightful to the viewers.
Yeah, I was just the analytical part got me. And this thing was about the T though. One last thing is left-hander. Most people I see they have the hook.
Yeah, some people hook.
Or they turn the paper around.
They turn the paper this way.
I don't do that. I write like when people write with the right hand. I write the same with my left hand.
All you have to do if you want to stop that little voice being hard on yourself is cross it the other way. So you'll be pushing the pen across the T, and that will help you change the voice inside your head. And you'll start, spreading criticism to other people where it belongs instead of at yourself. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for watching. And Ramon Chavez, Bart Baggett, later.
Thank you.